the inhabitants of the land. Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Bethshemesh and of Bethanath became tributaries unto them.
See that? So they taxed them all. But it's going to be somebody who something happened to one of the tribes. We're going to show you something because it's going to play out the end of this teaching. Read.
And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain.
Hold up. So out of all the other tribes, Dan is the only one that got forced into the mountains. We're going to show you that. You're going to find out later on that Herod was a Danite. Okay? And some of the other so-called Jews that or that mixed their seed with Esau or Idumean. This is why you don't see Dan and 144,000 to this day. They sold themselves to Satan. Keep going. Read that again. Start at 34.
And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley.
So they had control over them. Read.
But the Amorites would dwell in Mount Heres, and Aijalon, and in Shalabim. Yet the hand of the house of Joseph prevailed.
But Joseph, it didn't happen to them. Keep going. Read.
So that they became tributaries.
See that? Read.
And the coast of the Amorites was from the going up to Akrabim, from the rock and upward.
You see that? Just keep going. Let's go to Judges 3 and 5. Let's find out.
And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and the Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives.
They did what?
And they took their daughters to be their wives.
That was something they was not supposed to do.
And gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods.
The chapter before that we were just talking about was Judges 1 and 28, all the way down to the last verse. Okay? Read that again for me one more time, family. They did what?
And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons.
See that? They did what now? Let's find out what's happened. What was supposed to happen according to what we read. This is the beginning of this. Read.
And served other gods.
And did what?
And served other gods.
So they're doing everything that's wrong. Read.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and forgot the Lord their power, and served Baalim and the groves.
All right. So you see the evil that they've done. Yes. They did much evil. Now, let's move up. Let's find out. After a while, what happened. Okay? Let's go to, again, Antiquity of the Jews, book 4, chapter 6. Start up at paragraph 7.
So when the Midianites had set their daughters to Asbalaam, and extorted them, the Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty.
So we know that this is the young men that was doing this. Okay? Keep going, read.
And came to discourse with them, and besought them not to grudge them the enjoyment of their beauty, nor to deny them their conversation. These daughters of the Midianites received their words gladly, and consented to it, and stayed with them.
All right, so hold up. Now we got, we at a point where we have all these women are teasing, or there's intermarriage going on. Not with everybody, though. Because some are going to make you believe all Israelites did that. No. Just like some of us to this day won't deal with any other women. You know what I'm saying? Some of us won't even deal with the other nations. So how can you compare and say, all this is America? It's like being in America. No, it's not like being in America. Because even to today in America, people won't deal with other nations. And it's been like that. You get some, but it's minimum. Now skip over to paragraph 8. Let's find out what happened. We're going to go into a long story, but it's going to be exciting. You're going to learn something here. Read.
O you, illustrious young men,
So these are the women speaking to those Hebrews. Read.
we have houses of our own at home, and greatly plenty of good things there, together with the natural affection and love of our parents and friends.
See that? Read.
Nor is it out of our want of any such things that we came to discourse with you,
So, keep going. Read.
nor did we admit of your invitation with design to prostitute the beauty of our bodies for gain.
So they said, we ain't come to you, just to, prostitute our body to gain. We ain't come to you just to flatter you. But they were. But keep going, read.
But taking you for brave and worthy men.
So they looking at like, you guys are just brave and you good looking. Look how they still look at us to this day the same way. Keep going, read.
We agreed to your request, that we might treat you with such honors and hospitality required.
Read.
And now seeing you say that you have a great affection for us,
So remember, these men, and we remember what we read in Judges, that the women, that the men started going into the women. They started mixing. They wasn't supposed to. In the beginning, they wasn't at all. But now, there's some time they are. Read.
and are troubled when you think we are departing. We are not averse to your entreaties.
So they said, listen, we are not averse to your entreaties, meaning that your treaties that you make, we don't want to serve under your treaties. We have our own God. Because remember now, every time they conquered, they taught them the ways of the customs and the laws of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They taught them on everywhere they conquered, all these lands. But now, you get a new generation coming up, just like now, and they're keeping them. They're falling off. And they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. Keep going, read.
And if we may receive such assurance of your goodwill as we think can be alone sufficient, we will be glad to lead our lives with you as your wives.
See that? So they're taking them as wives. These Hebrews. Keep going, read.
But we are afraid that you will in time be weary of our company, and will then abuse us and send us back to our parents after an ignominious manner.
Meaning in a shameful manner. So these women were afraid that they was going to be used by these Hebrew men, right? And then, have sex with them all they want and do what they wanted with them. Because they knew that the women were infatuated with them. And then they thought that after they had their way, they was just going to send them back, just dog them. Read.
And so they desired that they would excuse them in their guarding against that danger.
So they're like, y'all gonna be, y'all okay? You cool. Y'all, we're not going to do y'all wrong like that. Read.
But the young men professed that they would give them any assurance that they should desire.
See that? Read.
Nor did they at all contradict what they requested.
So they didn't contradict what they said at all, what they wanted from them. Read.
So great was the passion that they had for them.
Read.
If then, said they, this be your resolution, since you make use of such customs and conduct of life as are entirely different from all other men.
So they saying, listen, y'all way of life, are different because these people were serving other gods. So when the Hebrews came in and destroyed their man and took people captive and gave them the laws, they was like, we're not used to this. Because why? Because Israel had the only true God. These people had false gods. Even the same people that came out of Egypt with them didn't have the true God. That's why they were so fascinated when they seen Moses and the Most High working for them. Read.
Insomuch that your kinds of food are peculiar to yourselves.
Even your food is different. Why? Because these people were eating pork, shrimp, scallops, and everything else under the table. You seen Zimmerman? These Gentiles will eat anything, man. Keep going, read.
And your kinds of drink not common to others.
Read.
It will be absolutely necessary if you would have us for your wives.
See that? Like they saying, listen, we need y'all as husbands, but there's going to be something that goes along with that. You see that? Keep going, read.
That you do with all worship our God.
What? They do what?
that you do with all worship our God.
Okay, you can take us and why y'all fascinating. We're very beautiful to y'all, but we want to serve our gods. Why? Because even though that the Hebrews went in conquering land, there were still people under the table still serving their own gods. But these women are being boldly about it because they see that in their man eyes, that in these Hebrew eyes, that they're that they're infatuated with them. 1 second. Read.
Nor can there be any other demonstration of the kindness which you say you already have, and promise to have hereafter to us, than this, that you worship the same gods that we do.
You see that? So they actually worship the same gods that we do. Read.
For has anyone reason to complain that now ye are come into this country, you should worship the proper gods of the same country?
See that? See that? Now that they're in another country, they're conquer these people. They make treaties with the king or whoever was still left. These women are like, listen, you should serve our God. Read.
Especially while our gods are common to all men.
Are common to who?
All men.
Are common to who?
All men.
Read.
And yours such as belonging to nobody else but yourselves.
Y'all see that? That's why when you always read in the Bible, it says their God, and they serve their God. They didn't say the world God. Their God. The Most High belongs to you. We're loaning him out. Read.
So they said they must either come into such message of divine worship as all others came into, or else they must look out for another world, wherein they may live by themselves, according to their own laws.
So they said, listen, if you can't serve our gods, then you can go ahead and be by yourself and serve your own laws. Because we're not serving your laws. We're going to stick to the same laws and customs we're doing. Now, there may be other people, our people who are doing it, but we're not going to do it. Remember what it says? We're not down with the trees. We see what's going on with the trees. Keep going, read.
Paragraph 9. Now if the young men were induced by the fondness they had for these women, to think they spake very well, so they gave themselves up to what they had persuaded them.
So now these men have fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Read.
And transgressed their own laws.
See that? Keep going, read.
And supposing there were many gods, and resolving that they would sacrifice to them according to the laws of that country, which ordained them.
See that? Which ordained them. You see this? You see what's going on? What we just read in Judges. We get more in detail what's going on now. Keep going, read.
They both were delighted with their strange food, and went on to do everything that the woman would have them do.
So now they don't fail again. They just like they ain't so infatuated with these women, these Hebrew men. Keep going, read.
Though in contradiction to their own laws.
So they didn't even go. They just fell and did everything contradicting to the laws that was given by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? If you go into strange women or you defile the holy seed with women or with women with men, it's going to be murder because of that. But they're not thinking right now. They're lusting. They're looking into these women. Read.
So far, indeed, that this transgression was already gone through the whole army of the young men.
See that? The whole army. Because why? Remember, we set men up in each nation in their government and rule over them and show them the way of the Most High. I'm going to keep saying that because that's a key point in this lesson. Read.
And they fell into a sedition that was much worse than the former.
That was much worse than the former. So it didn't happen before in time. It happened before. Keep going, read.
And into danger of the entire
abolition
of their own institutions.
Read.
For when once the youth had tasted of these strange customs, they went with insatiable inclinations into them.
So they started, when they seen these strange customs when they went, they started seeing the women, they started seeing the culture, and they just started falling for it. But it wasn't every man. We're going to show you that. It wasn't all the Hebrews. It was just some. It was just some. Today we'll call them sellouts. Oh, you Uncle Tom. Oh, you just hate your people. It's no different than what we're dealing with now. Read.
And even where some of the principal men were illustrious on account of the virtues of their fathers, they also were corrupted